Hey, I want to continue my series on lane splitting. I just got done having breakfast at Mel's Diner in Hollywood on Sunset Strip. And let's get continuing with lane splitting. Legal in California, not legal in many other states, but there's a lot I want to say about this subject. So, welcome to Urban Monk TV. Okay, so Sunday morning here, just had breakfast, and I want to talk about something that, has a big potential for ending your life prematurely. I'm speaking, of course, about the kind of breakfast that I just ate. Eating something like this regularly will probably end your life eventually. But in all seriousness, let's talk about lane splitting. I'm going to get back on the bike and capture some footage of just lane splitting here in California. And I won't be talking live about it, and I'll tell you why in a moment later on in this video. But there's a lot of things that I've learned over the years that I want to talk about in regards to how to do this in a safe way. I've already talked about in this other video why lane splitting is safe. And one of the reasons why I think I've survived as long as I have is because I lane split, not because I don't lane split. That may be counterintuitive to you. So let me get back on the bike, get on the road. We'll do a little lane splitting, and then back in the Shopastery, I'll explain what I'm doing here and how I go about it.
Gumbo down in New Orleans, the real queen of clubs, if you know what I mean. Her legs are longer than a Mississippi mile. She can bribe a sober judge with a wink and a smile. Call the juke joint Jenny, she's out on the town tonight. Well, she gets started for the evening, leaves her money at home. When she walks up to the bar, the man won't leave her alone. She got charm, class, whole lot of style. No need for credit card, she just puts it on a smile. Juke joint Jenny, she's out on the town tonight. Diamonds, satin, a bottle of Jack. Cruising downtown in a brand new Cadillac. Call her juke joint Jenny. Juke joint Jenny. Call her juke joint Jenny. Juke joint Jenny. Keep an eye on your wallet and both hands on your heart. Wow!
Okay, I'm back here in the Urban Monk Shopastery, and before I get into more detail around the lane splitting I'm about to show you, I just wanted to ask if you would, if you have not already, subscribe to this channel if you're liking the content you're finding here. I'm very close to 10,000 subscribers. I started this channel back in 2015. It would be super cool to finally make it to 10,000 subscribers. For me, that's a big milestone, probably, the biggest one I'll hit. This is never going to be a 1 million subscriber channel or even 100,000 subscribers. I highly doubt. Too niche, So hey, if you like what you find here, please subscribe and help me get to that 10K mark. And then also, if you like motorcycling, check out my book, Creating Mr. Corton. You can find it on urbanmonktv.com. Good read, I'm told. Mel's Diner, great breakfast. Famous from American Graffiti, the George Lucas film about classic hot rods and teenagers, their senior year going off to college, and kind of a coming of age story. His big movie prior to Star Wars, right? And it had Harrison Ford in it, actually. So many of you, I'm sure, have seen American Graffiti. If you haven't, hey, go back and see it. Mel's Diner is great, though. It's just super authentic. The food's good. A little bit more on the pricier side, but it is California, right? To be expected. They deliver quality on the food. They know how to baste an egg. Like, if I come to your community, I will go to a few different restaurants and I will judge your community on whether or not people can baste eggs there, because I'm weird. But they got jukeboxes and it's cool. I really like it. Mel's Diner, check it out. No endorsement here, just I like going there. So one thing I want to make very clear is that everything you see in this video is legal in the state of California. I know the topic of lane splitting, there's a lot of passions out there on both sides, whether this should be allowed, whether it should not be allowed. I'm on the camp of it should be allowed and allowed in more states, but with that caveat, what you see in these videos is legal here. And if you are questioning whether it's safe, I'll point you back to the previous video in this series and the study from UC Berkeley that talks statistically about the safety of it. So it's not just my opinion. So when I'm lane splitting, I am constantly thinking about risk level. It's like this dance, and it is a continuous fluid assessment of risk. Risk a little lower, moderate medium risk, or super high risk. And I'm constantly making adjustments and doing it in a way where I'm not thinking about it, I'm just doing it. But hopefully in this video I can point out some of this stuff. What I'm going to do is move from this type of shot to where I'm doing an overdub of the audio while we watch these videos, and I can explain the thought process, even though it isn't really like a conscious thought process, but it's what I'm doing. Let's put it that way.
While the law allows for splitting in any lane, in general, those auto drivers who are paying the most attention for motorcycles tend to pay more attention when they're in the leftmost lane. This is the fastest moving lane, so people with the fast moving agenda tend to be here, and people tend to be in the left lane because they don't intend to exit for a while. So they're here to stay. And that's a reduction in lane change risk. Even if they aren't paying attention, on average they don't have intentions of changing lanes, so while they may be inattentive, they're still staying in their lane for the most part. Conversely, the right lanes are where all the people are trying to get on and off and in and out of traffic, so there's a lot of lane changing going on over in the right-hand side of the road. Here on the left, a lot less of that. It's a numbers game. It's playing the odds of risk. So on the topic of speed, sometimes traffic is going two different speeds on either side of you. So you have to keep the speed differential down to the slowest lane of traffic. That can be a little tricky because there's one lane that feels like is going the same speed as you, but you know, the danger and the risk is in the one that's moving the slowest, right? So in general, I tend to always keep more of my attention on the car being slowed. They want to move lanes, and so they'll sometimes jump out. If I see a signal, I'll go far in my lane to give room and increase that gap between me and that vehicle, because as soon as they signal or put on their brakes, then they're making a decision, and they probably don't know I'm there. And so I'm always worried about that guy who has to make the fast decision and doesn't cover all his bases before he does it. Lane splitting is very much a study in human behavior, and human behavior will tell you that when the next lane over, or one lane to the left or the right of you, is going faster, there are a lot of people that just must, for whatever reason, get in that faster lane. So it's human behavior to try to jump lanes when the next one over is fastest. And so I can prepare for that and read it ahead of time. Obviously, another thing I'm judging all the time is the amount of space I have. The bike has to physically fit in the gap between the cars, right? That's a no-brainer. So, you know, here where there's a nice gap and I can clearly get through, whereas in this case, it's a little too narrow, rather go around. Here again, I go around, but into a turn lane, so I tuck into the forward lane. Sometimes the right lanes are the lowest risk, but sometimes they are moving faster, but I still stay left because I'm expected to be over there. So again, it's a judgment call, weighing the risk of where I'm expected to be splitting the lane versus where I can just move ahead without even having to lane split. You may notice that I'm moving around in my lane a lot. This is called dynamic lane position, and it serves a couple of purposes. One, it's just about positioning yourself for an escape path all the time. It also makes you more noticeable in rearview mirrors. Eyes tend to see movement, and so if you're just locked in one position of the lane, you can kind of disappear there visually. But, you know, here I give room to parked cars in case a door swings open. And also, when a turn signal comes on, I get left right away. Here I'm staying right of the cars that are backing up, aware of a car possibly entering the right lane of traffic. And here, this cab is a high risk. Cab drivers are just, you know, more intense drivers, right? So higher risk to me. I initially pull in behind him because it's going faster, but as soon as it signals, I turn and stay centered to keep my escape path open up the middle. Hey, so that's it for this second part of my series on lane splitting. I do have another video that'll come out next on this series, which I'll take it to another advanced level. So this is kind of the first group of key learnings I wanted to discuss. The next video is going to be about kind of advanced level stuff. So there you go, there's another one to come. Hey, if again you like motorcycling, check out my book, Creating Mr. Corton, urbanmonktv.com or on Amazon. And hey, if you like what I'm doing here, click that like button, the thumbs up, and subscribe if you want to become an urban monk. Thanks for watching.